Hello dear students. So we finished studying 3 Newton's laws of motion. What was Newton's first law of motion? It was that every body at rest will continue to remain at rest based upon law of inertia, that a body at rest will continue to be at rest, or a body in motion will continue to be in motion unless and until acted upon by an external unbalanced force. Similarly, the second law of motion was that force is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. And Newton's third law of motion is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Now, since we know all the 3 laws of momentum, we can study law of conservation of linear momentum. I taught you about momentum in the previous classes when we studied inertia and momentum. So, what is linear momentum? If a body of mass m is moving with some velocity v, then its momentum is given by the product of mass and velocity mv. This is known as linear momentum because the body is moving in a straight line path, so it has linear momentum. If a body moves in a circular path, okay, or if a body rotates, it is having rotational motion, then its velocity will be angular velocity. It will not be a velocity in a straight line path. It will be a velocity which will be moving in a curved path. That is called angular velocity. So in that condition, the momentum is called angular momentum. Okay. So the law of conservation of momentum says that any body before collision, when two bodies collide or when they act upon each other, then their momentum remains conserved. What does that mean? That means, like for example, here we consider 2 bodies. Okay, you can consider a cycle and a bike. Okay, there are 2 bodies, let us say. Okay, and the cycle is having mass m1 and the bike is having mass m2. Right? Both are moving with some initial velocities. Bike has initial velocity u2 and cycle has initial velocity u1. Okay. Let us say after some time they both collide. They are moving, and let us say that the bike is moving with lesser velocity, or if you want to make it realistic, we can call that the cycle is having like the bike is moving with greater velocity, cycle is moving with lesser velocity. So after some time both will come at the same point and they will collide. So here mass m1 and m2, they will collide. They will collide. That means they will exert a force on each other. So here this will be force exerted by body 1 on 2. Okay, so F12, and this will be force exerted on body 2 by 1. Okay, so these 2 forces will be equal and opposite. According to Newton's third law of motion, when both bodies will collide, they will exert a force on each other. Like when we play marbles or when you play bowling alley. Remember, you play bowling alley. So there are bottles with you hit a ball and the bottles drop down. Why that is so? Because the mass of the bottle is very high, right? Mass of the ball is very high and it is able to drop down the bottles. But if the ball is going and hitting the bottles are applying equal and opposite force to the this ball. But we've studied that acceleration is inversely proportional to mass. Right? So acceleration of the bottles is much high as compared to acceleration of the ball. That's why the bottles they drop down. Okay, they go away, they fly away. By going in line with Newton's third law of motion, both the bodies will exert an equal and opposite force on each other. Okay, and then after collision they will again separate. So let us say after the collision, the body m1 starts moving with velocity v1 and m2 starts moving with velocity v2. Okay, so what was the initial momentum of the system? When we consider linear momentum, children, we always consider a system. Here, our system consists of the cycle and the bike. The system can be two balls. Okay, the system can be a gun and a bullet. Okay, that's one system. Or a system can be like two persons, two vehicles, anything it can be. So when we are talking about a system, then we consider only the operating things in that system, the objects which are colliding, which are exerting force on each other, and no external forces are there. Okay, when no external forces should be there, we consider only the forces exerted by the bodies on each other. In that condition, their momentums remain conserved. Which momentums? Now, if this is a system of a cycle and a bike having masses m1, m2 and the initial velocity is u1, u2, then what is the initial momentum of the system? Initial momentum is m1, u1, that is momentum of body 1 plus m2, u2, that is momentum of body 2. Okay, this will be equals to final momentum, that is momentum after collision. Momentum after collision is m1 v1 plus m2 v2. This is nothing but the formula for the law of conservation of linear momentum, that total initial momentum is equals to total final momentum, or we can say that the momentum remains conserved or the momentum is constant. What does this actually mean? This actually means that when two bodies are acting upon each other, when they are colliding, then if one body was moving with greater velocity and the other body was moving with lesser velocity, and if there is a difference in their masses, then during collision they will exert a force on each other, and after collision their velocities might exchange. Like for example, you can imagine that we are considering a body of mass m1, okay, and a body of mass m2. Here m2 is greater than m1. You can consider m2 is a truck, for example, okay, and m1 is a bike. Now you can take any example. So when a truck and a bike collide, you can imagine what will happen, right? Both are colliding, both were moving fast, both were moving with some velocities, okay, then both collided, they met with an accident, and then both are applying equal and opposite force on each other, okay. FAB is equals to FBA, for example. This is body A, this is body B, right? They both exert equal and opposite force on each other, and after that they separate. Now they separate and now their velocities change. What will happen to their velocities? See, when they collide, this truck now will move with lesser velocity, but this bike will move with more velocity. Why is it so? Because the force exerted on each other is same, but when we compare their masses, mass of the truck, that is m2 upon m1 will be equals to a1 upon a2. They are vice versa, no? That means mass of the truck is high, so its acceleration will be less, and mass of the bike is less, so its acceleration will be more. That means after collision, its velocity will increase. So obviously you can imagine when a truck and a bike collide, the bike flies off and the rider will almost die, right? So this is explained by the law of conservation of linear momentum, that whatever be the masses of the two bodies, whatever be the velocities before collision, the momentum of the system will be equals to the momentum of the system after collision. Okay, you can consider the example of bike and a bullet also. Like if you consider the system of a bike, a gun and a bullet. So initially, let us say m1 is the mass of the gun and m2 is the mass of the bullet. Okay, so whose mass is lesser? M2's mass is lesser. Okay, when this bullet is fired from the gun, then this is the scenario before collision. Before collision, both the gun and the bullet are at rest. These are their masses. Their initial velocities are 0. But when the bullet is fired, the bullet goes away with very high velocity and the gun is recoiled back with a lesser velocity. Why is that so? Because force exerted by the gun on the bullet and by the bullet on the gun is same according to Newton's third law of motion. But the bullet goes with a higher velocity because its mass is less. So its acceleration is more and the gun is very heavy. Its mass is high, so its acceleration is less. Since the forces are equal and opposite, they move in opposite directions, right? So these are the few examples. Let's quickly take the proof or the derivation, which is very important. Please write this down and practice it as many times as possible. So we are considering two bodies, masses m1 moving with velocity u1 and m2 moving with velocity u2. Okay, let us say u1 is greater than u2. That means this body m1 is moving with greater velocity as compared to u2. This is moving faster. This is moving faster, so it will cover up with mass m2 and both will collide after some time. Okay, so they are colliding m1 and m2. This is before collision. This is while collision is taking place, and after they collide, they exert a force on each other. We can take like in your NCERT is given body A, body B, UA, UB and MA, MB. So it will be easier for you to practice. So force on A by B, okay, and force on B by A, right? FAB, FBA. Now they exert a force on each other, so MA will now move with velocity, change velocity VA, and MB will move with change velocity VB. This is after collision. Okay, so what we have to prove? That total momentum before collision is equals to total momentum after collision, right? So according to Newton's third law, force on A by B is equals to force on B by A. Both the forces are equal and opposite. I'll let it this side. Force on A by B is equals to minus of F of B by A. By minus because the forces are opposite in direction. Equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. Now here we can apply Newton's second law. What is force? Is equals to mass into acceleration. Force on A by B. So force on A will change the momentum of A, right? Force is exerted on body A, so that will change the momentum of body A. So mass of A into acceleration of A is equals to minus of mass of B into acceleration of B. Force is mass into acceleration. Why? A here because force is exerted on A. So this will change the momentum of A. This is force on B. So this will change the momentum of body B. Okay. So this will be written as mass of A. Acceleration of A will be change in velocity of A. Change in velocity of A is final velocity of A minus initial velocity of A upon time t. This is the acceleration of A. This is equals to minus of mb into acceleration of B. Acceleration of B is change in velocity of B. Final velocity of B minus initial velocity of B upon time t. Right? So time t will get cancelled from both the sides. Opening the brackets, we can write MAVA minus MAUA is equals to minus of MBVB minus plus of MBUB. Right? Now taking MAUA that side and MBVB this side. Okay, so we can write MAVA minus MBVB becomes plus MBVB is equals to, when MAUA goes that side, that becomes plus MAUA plus MBUB. Right? What is MAVA? MAVA is final momentum of body A and MBVB is final momentum of body B. Velocity after collision will become the final momentum. So this whole thing becomes total final momentum of the system. Total final momentum. And what is this? MAUA was initial momentum of body A. MBUB was initial momentum of body B. So this sum becomes total initial momentum. Momentum of the system before collision. So that can be written as total initial momentum. Okay. And our law is proved. Total initial momentum is equals to total final momentum. MAUA plus MBUB is equals to MAVA plus MBVB. If you name the bodies 1 and 2, you can simply write M1U1 plus M2U2. Total initial momentum is equals to M1V1 plus M2V2. Total final momentum. This is the numerical expression of law of conservation of linear momentum. Okay, and the statement I gave you beforehand only. So please do this derivation in your copy, keep practicing, and we'll do the numericals in the next class. Thank you.